In the last class, we studied separated bone, the separated skull. Now, let me make all the skull bone together. Let's see the skull as a whole. Now you see the skull in different direction. We can see your skull is different. For example, this picture is the top of the skull. Now let's see the superior view of the skull. On this view, we can see some bones first. What's this? Front bone. What's this? Parietal bone. What's this? Occipital bone. And all these bones, they are connected closely and directly by a special joint. This one is suture. Suture is direct connection between different bones. They are close very closely. And between the front bone and the parietal bone, this one is frontal suture. Because this suture from left to the right is parallel with our coronal plane. So another name is coronal suture. And this suture between the two parietal bones from anterior to posterior, this suture is sagittal suture because the suture is along the sagittal plane or sagittal axis. And here, this one is lambdoid suture. Lambda is a Greek letter. Lambda. You know this one? Lambda. Lambdoid suture. Because this structure is very like the lambda. And it's very like Chinese letter 人. Do you know this one is 人? Person or people. 人. Okay. This one is 人. No. This one is 人. This one is 入. It's lambda. Very like. This one is 人. This one is 入. 进入的入. Enter. Enter. So in China, we name this suture is 人 suture. But in international, we name it lambdoid suture. Okay. Its superior view. Now let's see, this view is internal view, or the base of the skull. First, you should know what's the base of skull. Now let's see the software. Okay, first go back. Now let's see the skull. Okay, you know it's the skull. Here is the top. Here is the base. And when you see the base on the lower, this one is external surface or external view, the view of the base of skull. Now, I'll open the skull. Hide it. Hide it. Hide it. Now, you see, this one is the base of the skull. And this one is internal view of it. Internal means inside of it, the base. Now you see this model is like this picture, but this picture only one half of it. Okay, they are same. Okay, now we'll study the internal view of the base of skull. Let's see what's structured on it. First, we can divide the base of skull into three different depth fossa. Anterior fossa is very superficial. The middle cranial fossa is deeper, and posterior cranial fossa is deepest. Now let's see on it. Let's see the lateral view. Let's see the depth of derm. First, you see here is anterior cranial fossa is superficial. Here is the middle fossa is deeper, and here is posterior fossa is deepest. So they are not on the same level from anterior to posterior, they are deeper and deeper. Now let's see what's the border of them. Anterior and the middle fossa, the boundary is the posterior border of lighter ring of sphenoid bone. Here is the lateral ring of sphenoid bone. And this border between middle and posterior fossa is superior border of petrosal part. Here is the petrosal part of the temporal bone. Okay, the two borders divided the basal skull into three different depth fossa. And first, let's study the anterior cranial fossa. What structure in here, or what structure you can see? First one, crystal galley. Just now I introduced about ethmoid bone. There is crystal galley, go upwards. Now let's see it again. Okay, crystal galley here. Crystal galley in anterior fossa, cranial fossa in the middle. Okay. And then is crystal galley. Then is cribriform plate here, cribriform plate, all horizontal plate. And on this plate, you can see there are many foramina. There are many foramina, you see. It's very, very small hole. This one is foramina, cribriform foramina. And do you know what structures will pass in it? Olfactory nerve. Olfactory nerve. From here, go downwards to nasal cavity. Distributed on the nasal mucosa. And the olfactory nerve's function will receive smell. Yes. And go upward, connect with your brain. Transmit the message to your brain. And now let's see the middle cranial fossa. The middle fossa. What structure in it? First one, optic canal. Here, optic canal. And there is canal. And there is canal will go forward to your orbital. The optic nerve will walk in it. Optic canal. And second one, superior orbital fissure. This one. This fissure is between the lateral vein and greater vein of sphenoid bone. And there is the superior orbital nerve, artery, and vein go forwards from here, from this future, to the orbital also, distributed around your eye, superior part of your eye. This one, there is a fossa in the center, hypophyseal fossa. What structure in it? Hypophysis. Yeah, hypophysis in here. It's an endocrine gland, can secrete many important hormones. And there is another foramen. This one is foramen rotundum. What's rotundum? Round. R-O-U-N-D. Because I have no the pen, so I must write by my mouth. So the word is very, very terrible. Okay, and continue. There is another foramen ovule. Foramen ovule. Okay, ovule is not very round. Okay, it's ovule. And here is very, very small foramen, very small. These two one are big, this one is small. Is the foramen spinosum. What structure in these three foramen? Here is maxillary nerve in it. Here is mandible nerve in it. And there is a very, very small artery in it. Okay, in future, I'll teach you what artery in here. And there is a foramen lysorum. It's very big, but not very round foramen. And there is an artery in it, internal carotid artery, go upward to supply of brain from here. Okay, now let's see the posterior cranial fossa is the biggest fossa or structure in here. First one, the biggest foramen. This one is foramen magnum, the biggest one, the max one. What structure in it? Yes, brain stem connected with spinal cord in here. And on the medial surface of here, there is an internal opening of hypoglossal canal. Hypoglossal nerve go out from here. Hypoglossal nerve go out from here. This one is internal opening. Then there is a canal go outside, will connect with the external opening. Then go out the skull. Okay, now you see the bike. There is the suckers. This sucker for transverse sinus. What's transverse sinus? It belong a vein. V-E-I-N. One kind of blood vessel, the vein. And this is a very, very special vein because it's not formed by the blood vessels. It's formed by the meningers. In future, I'll introduce it. And in these centers, there is venous blood flow in it. And this vein walk along the sucker. So this sucker is sucker for transverse centers. You should know the centers is a vein, one kind of vein. And continue. This one is a skull for sigmoid centers. Like here to here. Okay. There is another sucker. This sucker is sucker for sigmoid. What's sigmoid? Eyes shape. Yes, eyes shape. And you see this one is eyes shape. The eyes shape structures skull suckers. And this is the centers is another vein. This vein is sigmoid vein. Also with blood, venous blood flow in it. And then the blood flow from the transverse centers to sigmoid centers, then go back to these foramen. Here, there is another vein, and to another vein. This vein is jungular, internal jungular vein in here. Will walk in the jungular foramen. And here is internal cortic pole, the internal cortic nerve. From here, enter to the skull. Okay. Now, let's have a review about the structures just now we have studied. First, what's this? Crater galley, yes. This plate is horizontal plate or cribriform plate. On this plate are many small foramen. Is cribriform foramen or foraminal. In the center is a fossa, hypophysis or hypophyseal fossa. And there is a canal communicate to your eye, optic canal. And there is a fissure between the lateral and the great vein, superficial optic fissure. And here is a broken foramen. This one is foramen lacerum. And on the body, on the greater vein of the sphenoid bone, there are three foraminal from anterior to posterior, from the medial to lateral. They are foramen rotundum, foramen ovale, foramen spinosum. Okay. And on the back, there is the biggest foramen magnum. On the lateral side of it is internal opening of hypoglossal canal. And on the bike, there are two suckers. This sucker is sucker for transverse centers. This sucker is sucker for, yes, S-shape ethmoid centers, sigmoid centers. And then the centers go back to internal jungular vein. So here is the jungular foramen. And here is the medial surface of the petrosal part of temporal bone. There is a pore, internal occultic pore. Okay, this is all the structure on the base of the skull. This part is very, very important because there are many structures will walk in there. Some artery, vein, or nerve. We'll study the blood vessels in future in the circulation system, and we'll study the nerve in the nervous system. We'll repeat them again. Okay, this table shows us all the structures pass in different opening on the base of skull. And you'd better study them by yourself after the class and see them. You can see all the details. And the left side is the name of the opening, and right side is structure passing in them. Okay, let's have a rest.